This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I am one of your hosts, Tom.
And I am Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
I'm achy.
Achy?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I just I can't get comfortable when I sit or lie down.
Oh.
This is why I'm wearing a headset mic and walking around.
Just pacing back and forth.
Yeah, that's the only way I can
I mean,
be
it's very distracting, but you know, the rule here is whatever it takes to get
everything I do. You say I come here and you say the way you dress, Tim, is very
provocative,
distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah. What can I do to put you at ease, Tom?
You could put some more clothes on, and you could stand still.
I will not, and I cannot, Tom.
Well,
I must not.
Then we'll have to agree to disagree.
Let's shake on it.
Okay.
Let's pretend. That's a good one. Tom, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing good, Tim. I had a fun-filled week. I attended a taping of a television show this week.
Wow, Tom. Was it for national broadcast? Worldwide broadcast?
It was for international, for national broadcast, maybe a little international put in there. Who knows?
Yeah. What was it? Hold on, let me guess. Cheers.
It was not Cheers.
Was it an episode of Cheers?
No.
I was in the audience for an old episode of Cheers
for
this
an
week.
old episode, yeah. No, I was in the audience for the Jimmy Kimmel show.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Hey, he's hot right now, Tom.
He is. He's in
the zeitgeist.
Over. Yeah. And not only is he in the zeitgeist, this week he was in Brooklyn, which is where me lives.
Yeah.
I was going to say me and you, but then I corrected myself to just that's where me lives.
Yeah.
So I didn't sound like an idiot. It was at the BAM, the Brooklyn Academy of Music.
Yeah, that's a cool way that they've branded themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. But guess what? Here's the real.
Was Emerald there?
Emerald? No. You would think he'd be outside selling T-shirts. Bam!
Yeah. Well, you guys like BAM so much.
Yeah.
Perhaps I can take this opportunity to sell you some...
some T-shirts.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel was selling T-shirts, though.
Really?
Yeah. Not himself, but they had like a merch table, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, it seems low rent, right?
Yeah, because I was kind of like, how much money can you guys possibly make off
Maybe
of?
a lot. How much were T-shirts?
They were expensive. They were like concert pricing.
Yeah.
And they were not expensive T-shirts to make. Me and you, we've been in the T-shirt game
We've been
before.
in the T-shirt game for years now, Tom.
We've been out of the T-shirt game for years now, but...
we did very well. I retared from the T-shirt game, Tom.
Right.
It was all the,
you retired a wealthy man from...
Yeah, all the sewing,
Yeah.
all that, screen printing that I did myself, the design.
How do they make fabric?
Looms, I think.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But here's a big kicker, Tim. You know who is... I mean, you do know, but do you know who the guest would... Pretend like you don't know.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't know. Tracy Morgan?
Tim, you might be right, but you might be crazy. Tracy Morgan was one of the guests, but the other one was Billy Joel himself.
Wow. So much so that you would misquote a lyric of his.
Yes. Well, I had to fit it into the context.
I don't know why changing the word may to might fits the context, but...
He's updated it for 2017.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
He also played Miami 2017, the 2017 update of his hit song Miami.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
2017 remix. You saw Billy Joel live on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and you didn't invite your friend Tim. That is atrocious, Tom. Tom, do you know
what good is going there if I can't lord it over you?
Tom, you know how many times I've turned down tickets to go see Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden for his record-breaking residency there? I've turned them down because I was like, nope, I have to go with Tom.
Yeah.
Because I'm a loyal friend.
How many times?
Once.
Yeah. Once, and the ticket was very expensive.
Yeah, and I really couldn't go, but I was like, but I definitely can't go because my good friend, my comrade Tom, would be left behind.
My comrade in Billy.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed yourself. Did you meet him?
No, I didn't meet him. I met Jimmy Kimmel briefly.
Wow. Are you guys friends now?
We're very good friends now.
Nice.
But I did not meet Billy Joel. I don't know if anybody, can even truly say that they have met Billy Joel. Billy Joel told a story about bimbos at his concert.
Like dumb women?
But that was the implication. I mean, that was his word, not mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the first guest and then the musical guest at the end. And he told a bunch of stories where it was kind of like, boy, I really wish I didn't hear so much of your opinions about things, Billy Joel. It's going to make it much harder to enjoy your music later.
Oh, did you think he was like, the symbol of Long Island wannabe tough guy is going to have like great opinions on everything?
Yeah.
What was he saying about bimbos?
So he did this whole thing about how...
thank you for tuning into our Jimmy Kimmel recap podcast.
I mean, if you watch the show, this all made it into the show.
I refuse to watch it because I'm so upset that you didn't invite me.
He was basically talking about how at the Garden, when he plays every month... they keep the first 2 rows. They don't sell those tickets, and they give those tickets to diehard fans. So, but his
what? How do we get on that list? I'm a diehard.
Well, I'll explain.
Bimbos.
He said that for years he would always get upset because he's like, the first 2 rows, so it go to the scalpers, and then people pay exorbitant fees, and he's like, so I look down. And there's like a guy with, gold chains kind of like, Billy, I think you can only see the first 2 rows. If you could see the entire stadium, you would see a lot of guys in gold chains.
Gold chains there. All the way back to row Z.
Yeah. But he said, he'd look down and it's, he implied kind of like a mob guy with, too much money. Would buy the ticket and he'd be there with some bimbo and neither of them would even be paying attention to the show. It was just so that they could say, oh yeah, I'm front row at Billy Joel. But then he was explaining.
How could you not enjoy the show though? How does, what?
That sounds like it's a Billy problem.
Yeah, that's a failure on BJ's part there because front row, you should be captivating these people.
Yeah, I mean, he still throws the mic stand around and stuff, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Does he still go, what's the matter with the rose? Don't you Does he do that song still?
I assume so.
Yeah.
I think he brings out all the hits.
Yeah, he does.
But he said that they have the roadies go to the back and find,
Oh, this is no. See, he's whitewashing all of this.
Well, I'll explain. But
okay.
what were you gonna say?
Because this is an old arena band trick. Is they send out the roadies to find attractive women.
Well, yeah, that's what he said. He was like, well, of course, these roadies, they just give all the tickets to cute girls, and but then Billy's like, hey, I don't mind, then I get something nice to look at.
Oh, cool.
But then he told a version of the story where he said when he was touring with Elton John, Elton started doing the same thing. So he's like, so then some nights it was just cute guys in the front row, and I'm like, I don't think Elton John has all gay roadies too. That doesn't.
No, because here's the thing. Billy Joel just freaking let loose the secret.
Yeah.
Because Billy Joel's like, oh, yeah, the roadies, they pick out young, attractive girls.
Then he's...
No, they're clearly acting on orders from Billy.
Right.
Oh, and it's an accident. I have no say in the matter, so I'm just...
Yeah.
No.
But when Elton John's people do it, no, he tells them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a top-down thing. So, hey, Billy Joel... I still love you, but show us the love. When me and Tom are stacked in the
upper decks.
Yeah, tell your roadies to come get us. We're podcast hosts that speak sort of well about you sometimes.
And occasionally steal your music for our show.
Oh, yeah, we do.
But other than that, it was a lot of fun. Paul Schaefer, the band leader for David Letterman, was the substitute band leader or the additional band leader.
Yeah, I mean, you don't. He's not an additional anybody. He runs the show when he's there.
Well,
when Paul Schaefer's on set.
It was like Cleto and the Cletones featuring Paul Schaefer, so that is an addition.
Yeah. Well, how many songs did Billy Joel play? 5, 6?
He played one song.
Oh.
It was a lot. It seemed like a whole lot of effort for 3.5 minutes of music.
Yeah, I'm not all that upset that I didn't go to that because I am on record, Tom, saying I will never be in the audience of a TV show ever again.
Really?
It's too long. You have to wait in so many lines.
It takes up the whole day.
And then a man. I mean, this is a bigger place that you were at than normal. But like usually a man like yells at you for not cheering enough. If you're not cheering enough, it's like I'm not gonna cheer for anything. Like I'm a bad audience member.
Not even for Billy Joel.
Not even for Billy Joel.
And Tracy Morgan was great. I couldn't really hear him though. That was another problem.
That's what you want the audience experience to be.
But he was funny. He talked about Billy Joel as well.
Hey,
just
everybody's
like
talking about Billy Joel.
Yeah.
Do you think in 1972 or whatever, he's like in 2017, people are of all ages are still going to be talking about me?
Probably. He seems like he has a big
arrogant,
ego.
Right?
He probably thought like more people would be talking about it. He's probably mad that they aren't.
He's furious.
He did tell a good story about how he went to Bruce Springsteen the night before. Bruce is playing Broadway, the boss on Broadway.
Yeah.
The Broadway boss.
Tom, for some reason, I'm like desperate to go to that. I don't even really like Bruce Springsteen so much. It's fine, but like, I don't think I'll know the songs or anything.
But it was funny. I was surprised that Billy Joel was like unintentionally revealing, or maybe just doesn't give a flying shit anymore. Because Jimmy Kimmel was like, we knew you were there, and we were all excited, like, oh, he's going to come out for the encore and play a song with Bruce. And Billy Joel was like, no, I asked Bruce Springsteen if I could do that, and he said, no, thank you, please.
I would think that Bruce Springsteen and Billy Joel are like frenemies.
Billy Joel made Bruce Springsteen's motorcycle, I heard.
Yeah, but like I feel like they have to, for the good of the country, pretend that they like each other.
Right.
For the good of the working class, right? Like
to keep the working class in line.
Exactly. Otherwise, like if
otherwise it would
warring,
split off.
Then the working class is it's brother against brother, and then like they'll never get anything done.
Yeah.
Who would do all the work?
You'd have Allentown against Asbury Park. Tim, it's the spookiest time of year. And that's why
I'm terrified, Tom.
That's why this October is a complete guide to everything Boo-tober.
Boober.
That sounds like
something else entirely.
Yeah.
Octoboo?
Octoboo.
Octoboo.
That sounds like a scary octopus.
Spook boo.
Spook.
It's scare. It's spook boo scare.
It's a spook boo scare here on the Complete Guide to Everything. So the entire month of October, except for the first week where we didn't think of this, are going to be scary topics. So, send grandma out of the room.
Yeah, unless she dies.
Unless you got some kind of like insurance scam going.
Yeah.
Then
listen to
call
us.
her
We'll
into
help
the
you
room.
murder your grandma by scaring her.
Yeah. Cause of death, fright.
Yeah. Frightened by two men.
Frightened by two men from the internet.
Frightened by recaps of Billy Joel talk show appearances.
We're talking about Halloween-related...
the scariest topic of all. Halloween costumes.
Well, they can be. Tim, we were looking at Halloween costumes earlier, and boy, some of these costumes are real scary. You said you were tempted to get a Slender Man costume just because he was so scary looking.
And the price was right.
What was the price?
It was like $46.
Oh, okay. Did you also think like, oh, this is a very slimming costume?
Well, I was concerned
nice.
that like maybe I couldn't pull it off.
Right. They'd be like, that's not a slender man, that's an average man.
Yeah, that's a slightly paunchy man.
That's paunchy man. But some of these you were getting upset because there were so many internet urban legend costumes.
Yeah, I'm not up to date on it. Like, the only thing I know about the Slender Man is that horrible story where these teens tried to, or preteens tried to murder a classmate in service of the Slender Man, who they understood to be a fictional character. I don't understand how people relate to reality these days.
Yeah.
I feel like people know things are made up, but they still base their lives around them.
Yeah, I think that's actually true. I mean, you've explained religion, basically.
I guess so.
It's a good documentary. Have you watched the documentary, the HBO documentary?
No, I watched a 2020 story about it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's going to be more fear-mongering than...
No, it was about the actual heroic efforts of the victim to
like educate and
no, just to overcome, just to like, you know, it was a long hard road for this. Look, why are we talking about this?
I don't know, Tim. It's
but
too
why?
Scary.
Also, it's like why? Like I feel like it's in poor taste to dress up like the Slender Man if like people tried to kill for this thing, right? Kids killing kids.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a big, you know. There have been, some kid killed their sister years ago in service of the Ninja Turtles.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, but he was like, they were playing a game. It wasn't like I'm going to make a sacrifice to Donatello.
Right. So that's where you draw the line.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that's not the Slender Man's fault. Tim, stop trying to blame the Slender Man.
I do blame the Slender Man for a lot of problems that probably aren't his fault.
There were a lot of costumes that were like Slender Man-esque that were other. What was the one was like Zalgor or something?
Something like that, yeah. But you were explaining to me like, oh, this is a thing from a website, pastacops.com or something.
Pasta Cops?
What is the thing?
Creepy pasta.
Yeah.
God, you're such an old man.
Yeah,
man.
no, I'm an adult man.
Well, I think that's what it is when you were like, this internet stuff. It's like, well, when we were kids, like, I'm sure 9 times out of 10, what I was dressed up as, like, people answering the door weren't like, oh, it's Lion-O from Thundercats. All right.
You know, they were saying that because it said Lion-O from Thundercats right on your smock.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I never realized that that's really who those costumes were aimed at, explaining to adults what you were.
So they could be like, oh, and this is Alf.
Yeah. Friday nights at 8 on NBC.
Should watch that with my son, is what they said. It's good viral marketing for Alf.
Yeah.
You have somebody dressed up as your character. Mm-hmm. You might as well tell the grown-ups when they can catch that character.
Yeah, if they like the look of that character.
Yeah, and then they can watch the show with their son.
Yep. Same thing with like all the MASH costumes.
Yeah. Radar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you must be Radar from MASH. I've never seen an episode of MASH.
I've only seen like the first minute of MASH accidentally, and it's too depressing to...
Oh, you don't like the instrumental version of the song "Suicide is Painless"?
No.
With the helicopters that they. The only time I saw it was a rain delay for a baseball game that I wanted to watch. So
no, I feel like that used to be on after Cheers reruns on Channel 11, and that was the risky thing that it was like. I think there's another episode of Cheers after this, but it might be MASH.
And the end credit song for Cheers was sad enough because it was like the slow.
It was sad but wistful.
Yeah, it was an instrumental version of the theme song, but played on a clarinet slowly, and it's just like. No, because I often, when I was a kid, I had to go to bed after Cheers was on.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I was watching some Cheers lately. I was like 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That show, like, I don't know what appealed to me as an 8-year-old. I liked when they said Norm. No, I hated the music.
Norm. You like drinking when you were 8. You were like, boy, I can't wait for that to be me.
Yeah.
Keeping a big tab, never paying it.
Yeah, I want to be
and that's why you would
alcoholic.
You would stick around because you'd hear the sad version of the Cheers song, and you're like, if it's but you're like, if there's another episode, then I get the more rambunctious version. But maybe I'll roll the dice one time too many and I'll get MASH. But anyway, we're not talking about.
No,
were there any Cheers Halloween costumes? For
I don't
kids?
know.
I feel like there would be a Sam Malone.
Yeah,
And he'd be wearing a shirt that said Cheers where he worked on it.
Who would be Cliff Clavin would be a great costume, just like
Yeah.
for like one of us
For
this
nowadays.
year.
Yeah, he'd just go to.
Or Norm Peterson.
Yeah. Cliff would be more recognizable.
Yeah.
But
like it might just be like postal employee.
Yeah, but if you were a postal employee with like a gray wig and a gray mustache, then everybody would know who you are.
Yeah, that's true. What percentage of the people listening to this have no idea what we're talking about right now? 80?
Yeah, well, not as many as
Millennials
don't care.
Killed Cheers.
That's true. Well, let's talk about. I want to talk about this list.
Okay. A famous internet list.
Tim, is National Retail Federation. Do you know who those guys
The
are?
NRF?
The NRF. They're a powerful lobby.
They are. I've seen
They've
a
had
lot
a
of
lot
their...
of people killed.
Yeah?
Because, just keep stories out. So we're taking our own lives in our hands reporting on this.
Well, I feel like we owe it to our listeners after all that MASH talk.
So they I don't know how they do this. I guess surveys or whatever. But they figure out like what people are going to be for Halloween. And then they go back and they tell all the stores. So the stores know.
Yeah, they probably
what
go
to
to the
have.
mall and they're like, what are you going to be for Halloween?
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe they ask one person.
No, they ask a few people at the mall, Tom.
Spend
There's
an hour
usually
at the
more than
mall.
one person at the mall.
Not nowadays. Millennials
It's a
kill
ghost
them all.
town, yeah. Jeff Bezos.
More than
Do you think Jeff Bezos is going to make us all shave our heads
for Halloween.
just for life? Be like, you
Maybe.
all must be in my image now.
No, because
That's
then
the rule.
Then how is he going to sell hair products?
He doesn't care.
I don't know. I buy my shampoo from Amazon.
You buy everything from Amazon, Tom.
I buy a lot from Amazon.
You have so many boxes in your home.
I'm saving boxes right now.
For what? You
For a
building a
rainy
sweet
day.
fort?
Yeah.
I'm going to build a new apartment.
I'm going to build it outwards out my windows. More than 3.7 million children plan to dress as an action character or superhero for Halloween this year.
All right. So like Rambo.
Yeah, Rambo or like a
John Rambo.
Jack Reacher.
Yeah, or Brian Dennehy from Rambo.
Yeah, a lot of kids are choosing to go as Brian Dennehy's sheriff character from Rambo.
Yeah. He wasn't a sheriff. He was a general. Tom.
He was a general?
He was like, he wasn't the sheriff.
Who was the sheriff then?
Wasn't Brian Dennehy Rambo's like commanding officer that they brought in to like coax him out of the woods?
Like, John, get out of those goddamn woods.
Yeah, come on,
John.
What are you doing in the woods, John? Get out of the woods.
I want to get out of the woods.
First blood.
I drew first blood. They drew first blood.
John, be reasonable here.
The movie went on like that for an hour. It's amazing that
It's a wonderful film.
That first Rambo is such a.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
such a good movie.
I don't exactly remember what happens, but
not a lot happens.
He's just in the woods, and then he kills Brian Dennehy.
Well, they don't want him in the town because he's a Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
And then he's kind of like, all right, I understand. But then they're like, yeah, and we're going to shoot at you on your way out.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then he's like, well, you drew first blood, no, to come get you.
They weren't acting rationally.
No, nobody in that movie was acting rationally
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
But so here's what's super confusing about this list.
Where is it from? The NRF?
The NRF.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I don't know how they ask people what they want to be.
Your dog triggered a singing bottle opener.
Yeah,
and you
now.
just tried to act like it didn't happen.
I thought it was my dog talking. Because so here's the list. Number 1, action / superhero.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
John Rambo, Spider-Man.
But no, because then here's the thing. Number 2, Batman character.
That seems to be a subset of number 1.
You would think, but it's not.
Right.
And it's not, they're lumping in, the Joker and Batgirl and the
Let's
Robin.
face it. Do you think there are more Batmen running around on October 31st or twisted Jokers?
More Batman. Although.
Really? No.
Not,
Keith Ledger's Joker character is not more popular
with adults.
Or with kids.
No.
But they also have Jared Leto's now, too.
Kids want to be Batman. They don't want to be the Joker. The Joker's a bad guy.
Some kids are bad, Tom.
Some kids are twisted.
Yeah.
So then,
some kids, they pledge allegiance to the Slender Man and do awful things.
That's very true. But then number 3, princess. Number 4,
princess.
Yeah.
Disney princess or just general princess?
No.
All manner of princess.
Because here's what's so screwed up about this list. Number 3, princess. Number 10, Disney princess.
The NRF is resting on its laurels here, man. Because we're all just eating up whatever the NRF says all the time, and they're getting lazy.
Number 4, animal. Cat, dog, monkey.
Number
Those
4?
are just examples of animals.
I thought maybe animal from the Muppet Show.
You thought that was the number 4 most popular costume with children?
Yeah.
Okay, so we already said action superhero at number 1. At number 5, Spider-Man. Also not included. And then at number 8, Marvel superhero excluding Spider-Man.
Why would they do that?
I don't know why you know what I think it is? I think this was like a bad survey they gave out, and it wasn't until they got everything back they were like, shit, we shouldn't have given people we shouldn't have had them answer like, hey, you gonna be a superhero, and then just let them leave after they said yes.
Yeah, this is what people were planning on
more
being
specific.
Like, when did they take this survey? Were they asking people in August, like, what are you going to be for Halloween?
That's the other thing I don't know, because this was just released this past Thursday. So yeah, I don't know when they
maybe
asked.
they did it on Wednesday.
They might have done it on Wednesday. It kind of seems that way.
Yeah.
And then for adults, can you guess what the number 1 most popular adult costume is?
Am I not going to want to...
No, it's not like
Batman?
a bad thing. No.
What is it?
Witch.
Real? That's not true.
That's the number 1, witch. I can
Maybe
see that.
I live in
see
a
a lot
bubble,
of
man.
witches.
Yeah, I don't.
You live in
don't.
a witch-free bubble.
Yeah. I know real
purposefully.
witches, Tom.
Really?
Yeah.
Warlock is not on the list. But number 2, Batman character. Batman, Catwoman, Harley Quinn, etc.
Keith Ledger's Joker.
Keith Ledger's Joker.
Keith Leather's Joker.
Number 3, animal. Cat, dog, etc.
Or from the Muppets.
Right. 4, pirate.
This is not true. Is this like a public domain list of like...
Batman, for the final time, Batman is not in the public domain.
It should be at this point, right?
No. The creators haven't been dead that long.
Unfortunately.
Well, that's not very nice.
Tom, I've been on the record saying I wish Bob Kane had died earlier than he did.
Bob Kane and Bill Finger, too. Yeah. Bill Finger is now being given
Bill
credit.
Finger?
Yeah, Bill Finger.
I have nothing against either of them. I don't.
You should have something against Bob Kane, because that was like the classic, like, I created all this, and he screwed over Bill Finger.
Well, you know what? He created a character that stands the test of time. They both should be carved into Mount Rushmore, as far as I'm concerned.
So number 5 is Marvel superhero, but in this they include Spider-Man with that.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it does make sense, but the other list, they're like, well, Marvel superheroes not including Spider-Man.
Tom, I don't understand what you're looking to get out of this list.
Number 6, vampire.
Okay, this is not true.
Number 7, zombie.
That would be higher than witch.
So you think zombie's number 1?
Yeah.
or number 0.
Yeah.
Number 8, DC superhero.
Why are you listening? This is the most boring list I've ever heard.
Excluding Batman and Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is number 11. Also a popular, this is one that I don't believe. This is not from the NRF, though. Popular costume they claim is Mia from La La Land.
I don't think that's true.
Right? Yeah.
I don't think anybody's clamoring to get those. Who's that? The lady?
Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The lady in the movie is Mia.
Yeah.
That was not the Ryan Gosling character.
There are other women in that movie.
Or the John
Tom.
Legend character. I don't think there are other women in that movie. She has friends in the movie, but they don't really have lines. They just
maybe they don't.
Yeah.
No. An award winner that movie was.
It sure was, Tim.
Yeah.
And won the biggest award of them all.
Well, no, Tom, I have news for you.
What?
Breaking news.
What?
They took it away. They stripped it.
No. I clearly remember seeing on the Oscars. I'm like, La La Land won. Great. And I turned the television off, safe in the knowledge that La La Land won.
I must be mistaken then.
Yeah. Who would know better, you or Warren Beatty?
I used to think his name was Warren Baby.
Well,
gone on record.
It was at one point, but then he aged out.
Tom, we're back.
Yeah.
Talking about some Halloween costumes here. You went through the NRF's.
The NSF.
I don't know, what is that? Not safe for work?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
NSFW.
Yeah. You went through their boring lists.
Yeah.
Now I got a list of my own, Tom.
Okay.
And I'd like you to pitch in.
Mm-hmm.
What were you, when you were an adorable kid, what were you dressing up like for Halloween?
I was trying to think about this, and I couldn't. I could remember like a very small amount of costumes, which as a kid, I remember like putting a lot of thought into what I should be.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. I bet my parents would be very disappointed because they were probably like, well, you made us like do a lot of work for this and you don't even remember it 30 years later.
Well, yeah, because I remember every year it was like a battle between like me wanting to be something that you can't buy a costume of in any way, and like my mom being like, why don't we just go to the costume store and you can buy one of the pre-made costumes?
Yeah, it's got a plastic mask of whoever you want to be and a smock with the picture and the name of the real thing. And
especially because like often I still wanted to be like a character from like a movie or TV show, but like a minor enough character that they wouldn't make a costume for him. So then I'd be like, well, Mom, you know how to sew. Why don't you just make me an entire outfit?
Yeah, we weren't that kind of family. I have a lot of respect for the families that like make it a thing where you make your costumes and like there's some
cosplay families.
I just feel like that's like a pioneer thing to do.
To make a costume?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can actually, and again, you know, maybe my mom would be upset to hear this because I can only remember one time where she made a costume for me because I was insistent for like a number of years and it still wasn't exactly what I wanted. It was Super Mario. And this was before you could buy like a Super Mario costume.
There was a time when Super Mario was popular and you couldn't buy a costume.
Yeah.
I guess things were different in the 80s because like we stopped. It was before there was so much pandering done to children.
Right.
Or before like marketers had like been like, oh no, kids will just bug their parents until they'll buy. Yeah, kids don't have any money, but they're really fucking annoying and like can pester their parents into buying them stuff.
I think this was before like Nintendo realized like, oh, we can like license our stuff to other companies. We don't have to like make everything ourselves.
So you thought the video game designers were like using a loom to make red overalls?
No, I think it was just like in the old days, like Nintendo probably correctly was like, no, we're gonna like stay focused on like these $60 cartridges instead of like
$18
lunch boxes and things like that. There were a little bit of that, but not as much. Not commiserate with the popularity of Super Mario. And I wanted to be Luigi, and my mom talked me out of it because she was like, nobody knows who Luigi is. Like, barely people know who
what
Mario
do you know,
is.
Mom, you idiot?
Yeah. It's like, well, I don't have a Nintendo. I have to go to the next door neighbors, and so I'm always Luigi. That's why I identify with him.
As a younger brother, Tom, I identify with Luigi. Cause
He was great. He's not dead.
We're here to eulogize Luigi Mario.
But yeah, and like I have one of the reasons why I remember this costume is that there was a picture of me with my grandparents dressed up as this, and like they both look like, very confused about what I am.
Yeah.
And even that, it seemed like in theory, you get a pair of overalls and you get one of those hats.
You grow a mustache.
Well, and you get a fake mustache.
Oh, you were one of those kids?
Yes.
In my family, we grew our mustaches for our Halloween costumes.
The whole town knew, Tim. It was terrifying. It terrified everyone. How they were able to get their young children to grow mustaches.
Hormones. They injected us with hormones,
yeah.
Tom. Several times a day.
But the whole costume needs to be like built from scratch because you can't find like bright red overalls and a bright red like
even for
painter's
kids.
cap. No, I guess not.
Well, Tom, I was Cookie Monster.
I was Cookie Monster once.
Yeah, all I remember was the mask was such.
It cut.
Yeah, exactly.
It was very sharp. It was a sharp
like
mask.
the eye holes, like
yeah.
The one place where it really shouldn't be sharp on a child's face.
No.
And then a smock that said a plastic smock that said Cookie Monster on it.
I think I might have been Ernie once too.
That seems about right.
Yeah.
You seem like a little troublemaker. Yeah. I was Alf I was all about Alf, and I was a little disappointed because that's when I wanted to be like, hey, we can make, like, Alf is a puppet here, and I knew this even then. And I was like,
well, you're a very smart boy.
Yeah, if they can make a puppet, we can make
like a costume. It was a little person.
Yeah, we can make a costume out of the same material.
Alf fabric.
And like, let's do this, Mom. You're an adult woman. You know how to sew, which is what I thought when I was like, you can make things. She, I don't know if she could. She didn't.
Right.
She wouldn't.
Right.
But maybe she could. So like, I got the plastic Alf costume, which I guess was fine because who gives a shit.
Understandably, a parent would be like, well, I could spend like 40 hours making this costume, or we could go to like any store and for $15 get you a very close approximation.
Yeah.
And especially like you're going to get this dirty, you're going to rip it.
And you're 6. Well, you whistle when you talk too. You're 6. And so like after a half-hour trick-or-treating, you're going to take half the costume off. You're going to take the mask off because you're just going to be annoyed.
Oh, well, maybe you would, Tim. I was a very committed trick-or-treater.
Now,
here's
the thing.
On.
We were discussing this off mic. Are you supposed to, when you dress up as a character for Halloween, are you supposed to act like that character, or is it enough that you're just... I think it ends at the appearance.
That's certainly acceptable, but if somebody's also acting like it, that's nice. You like to see that once in a while. Well, it depends on if it's like an annoying character.
If there's a Riverdale Jughead, not a fun-loving comics Jughead,
right?
No fun Riverdale TV show Jughead at my Halloween party, and it's just a guy being dour in the corner, like being a downer and just being like, I'm just going to sit here and write.
And not eat hamburgers.
Yeah, and not even eat hamburgers. I don't want that at my... Like, why would I invite you? Why would I invite a dour, like, depressed man?
So you're saying that you would... you're going on record as saying you would throw Jughead out of your party.
I would throw Jughead out of my party. Yeah.
You're a sick man.
Well, if he was fun and eating hamburgers and being goofy and pulling pranks and just being a dimwit, I'd like that.
I could see you throwing somebody out for pulling pranks much quicker than anything else.
Boy, do I hate pranks.
Get out of my house.
Pranksters, man. Hate them.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever really acted like anything that I've dressed up as. Some costumes require that, though. If it's like something where on site you're not going to know what somebody is, then you got to be acting like that character so people know.
Like what?
Like a skeleton.
What?
No, I'm kidding. Like if you're dressed somewhat normally.
I was a skeleton for a couple years because it was a very good costume. I don't know where it came from. It was not store-bought. But
Did it come from the cemetery?
Maybe. I was possessed by a soul.
Oh, wow.
And it changed my body into a skeleton.
That's crazy.
No, it was all black.
Yeah.
And I was like 8, maybe? Mm-hmm. No, it's first grade. How old are you in first grade? 8?
7, I think.
Yeah. And like the back was just all black. And it had a hood over your head.
Mm-hmm.
And it even had like gloves that were, everything was all black, and then there was just like bones.
So an
like,
incredibly
sewn.
dangerous costume to wear while trick-or-treating.
Exactly. For a child to wear. But it was, Tom, it was dope. Every bone was there on the hand, on the
What do you mean every bone was there?
Every bone was accounted for.
Tim, you don't know what bones are in a hand.
Well, it seemed like a lot. It seemed like, yeah, that's a pretty compelling skeleton right there.
So it was just a very detailed skeleton, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I'm sorry, Tom. Maybe medically speaking, every bone was not accounted for, but like...
Well, you're putting a dangerous thing out there, Tim. What if some doctor's in an emergency, and he's like, I don't have my reference books. Get me... That kid has a pretty detailed skeleton costume. Bring him into the OR here.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
can
it's
see
probably close enough. What is he going to do? Take out a bone? This isn't supposed to be here. I'm going to take out this bone.
Yeah.
Takes out half of man's bones.
Yeah, not half of them, but some. You know, you're telling me you need every bone in your body.
You don't need every bone in your body.
That's why some people have more bones and some people have less.
That's not true.
That is 100% true.
Tom, where did you learn this fact?
From the internet. Like, I learn everything. No, that's true. Some people have extra bones.
Babies have more bones.
Yeah, because then some of them morph into one bone.
Fuse together, yeah.
Yeah.
That scares me.
That's why babies are, you can throw them up in the air.
You can bend them anywhere, any way.
Yeah, they got all
They're like
those
a Stretch
bones.
Armstrong.
You should. I mean, I was reading a thing about how in the Middle Ages they thought like babies were like basically Play-Doh, and so they would like bind babies to make them get longer and grow taller, and it just sounded
Did it work?
hard. No, it didn't work. Babies aren't like Play-Doh.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, Tom.
I was going through one of the other costumes that I was. I doubt you'll remember this, but I was a silver hawk. Do you remember silver hawks?
No.
They were like, I don't know if it was like an official spinoff. I think it was just like the same company that made Thundercats.
Okay.
Made this thing called Silverhawks, and I was a Silverhawk.
Man, that's depressing.
I love that show. It was a fun show.
I can just imagine your parents being like, okay.
Well, it was a store-bought costume.
Okay.
It
then, yeah.
Yeah, they were just like, that's the one you want? Okay, that's fine.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, that's better than me at the same age, like, asking for, like, a television-quality Alf costume.
Yeah.
No, I want to be the actual Alf.
Yeah.
I know how this works.
Yeah, look, I have to be very similar in size to the man that they put in the Alf costume when they need a shot of Alf from the waist down.
Yeah.
Surely you can
Yeah, see it every week in the
that.
credits. It happened. It happened at least once. Babies, they always dress them up as pumpkins or something.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Why not?
Don't dress a baby up as anything.
Why not? That's
Have
the
some
cutest. No,
respect.
have some respect for a baby. You don't have to respect a baby. You have to take care of it, but you don't have to
You want
respect
to
it.
stretch them out and see if they'll get tall.
No, you think that that's the case. I'm warning you that that's not the case.
I was just asking if that was the case. You're the one who's reading up on it for some reason.
Well, to take down maniacs like you who might want to do it.
You want to stretch out a baby and inject it with hormones so it
grows a
mustache, and that way you can be like, look, this baby's a man.
Yeah. Well, then that baby could be Luigi because it would be tall and with a mustache.
Smart.
No, I would argue that baby costumes are the only costumes that always delight me.
Yeah.
No matter how, because,
Yeah, that's true. I just feel bad for the baby because the baby doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, but babies like attention and cooing.
Some don't.
Yeah.
Some babies hate attention.
But like when a baby's like dressed up like a mouse or like a cat or something, that's always cute. Because a lot of times it's just like, well, this is like the same type of onesie that this baby always wears, but it has ears on it.
Yeah.
That baby doesn't care. The baby doesn't know.
Yeah, all right, you're right. You've sold me on baby costumes.
Okay, good. How many?
I will go into business with you.
Oh, no, I wasn't looking for you to go to business. I was looking to sell you baby costumes. How many can I put you down for?
I don't have a baby, so I'll take 12?
Let's make it a baker's dozen.
13 baby costumes, please.
Okay, and they can all be the same, right?
Yeah, the pumpkin. It's the only one there is.
I also remember when I was a teenager, I was the Terminator one year.
Wow, how did you do that? The metal version or the Terminator with human skin?
The T-800, Tim.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes. God, you don't know anything.
I don't know anything about the Terminator.
Shit about Dick. I was the T-800. And it was one of those costumes where it was like the half a metal face, and you would put that on.
Teens with their masks, man. I don't like teens in masks.
This was not a mask.
When we're like I'm a deranged clown. Like, stop it, teen. Go live underground until you're 20.
Well, that's you gotta blame teens' favorite place to hang out for that, Spencer's Gifts.
Yeah,
they always sell those masks year round.
They do.
A rubber mask. I never had. Oh, I did have like a rubber mask once. It was like a cheap thing, and it was so hot, and I think it was just like a crazy man. But the Terminator thing required, like, it wasn't a full face mask. It only covered half the face, and then it came with like makeup, like special effects makeup to SFX makeup to make it look like your skin was over the Terminator mask. Let me tell you a few things about that. A, it did not work very well. B, this material was so weird because it looked like skin, and it was like pink. But it felt
like your pink skin.
Yeah, but it felt like hair. It felt like it had hair inside of it when you pulled it apart. It was very strange, and it did not create the desired effect. It did not create the desired effect, and like being a teenager and already having acne, this did not. This my oily teen skin did not. I think could not adhere to any kind of adhesive, but then also probably had like a crazy breakout from that, and like but the eye glowed. There was like a little battery inside, so the eye glowed red. So that did you scare everybody? Scared everyone. A lot of people thought I was the real Terminator. Yeah, I can imagine. I was shot multiple times. Did it make you invincible to bullets? Like it did not. No. It was just the mask, and then I think I like wore my dad's leather jacket. Cool. But it wasn't like the leather jacket the Terminator wore. I think it had like a fringe. Yeah, like a fringe, like one of those white fringe things on top. It was like the Terminator's winter jacket. Nice. Tom, what do you think of me just buying a gorilla costume for year round? It would be great. You can't find a cheap gorilla costume. I know. That's why I want to make an investment, so it's not just for one Halloween. It will be for every Halloween for the rest of my life. I'm not going to buy an off-the-rack gorilla costume either, Tom. It's going to be a custom. Yeah, it'll be a custom job. You can't just buy like a taxidermied gorilla and just wear its skin. If that's what you're thinking. That's not what I was thinking, but now I'm thinking, why not, Tom? Why are you so sure of this? I guess you probably could buy a mink coat. Yeah, well... Why can't I buy a full gorilla's skin? Yeah. But also a gorilla's way bigger than... I'm not going to find a gorilla my size unless it's like a... That's true. Like a child gorilla. And then, like...
And also, like, I don't think we should be killing gorillas just for Halloween costumes.
I would go as far as saying I don't think we should be killing gorillas at all, but
yeah.
Sure, especially not for
Well,
Halloween.
if it was kind of like, if it was, if we found out that this one specific gorilla's blood would, like, cure a disease.
Okay, well, you could just take some of the blood then.
No, but, like, it wouldn't work if it was...
It had to be dead blood?
Yeah.
Okay. Tim, again, I don't think you're very well versed in how the medicine works.
I don't know. You're the one who brought it up. I was just talking about buying a gorilla costume, and then you started talking about murdering gorillas for costumes, and using their blood for medicine. I'm not following your train of thought. All I want to do is just buy a standard gorilla, a high quality gorilla costume.
Well, but here's the problem, Tim, that maybe you're not thinking about. That if you buy a high quality gorilla costume, you run the risk of you coming to a party, a gorilla escaping from the local zoo, also coming to this party.
Right.
Everybody thinks that gorilla's you. And we're like teasing it, and it's getting mad, and we're like, oh, it's just Tim acting.
Yeah,
he spent a lot of money on this gorilla costume, so he's not going to get out of character.
Yeah.
And we don't know that we're at a party with a dangerous gorilla until you come later, and you're like, sorry, I'm late, guys. And you're wearing like a cheap, compared to the real deal, a very cheap looking gorilla costume.
Right. That seems like your problem, not my problem.
That's true. Yeah, you would be the last. Well, but what if once you come in, that gorilla falls in love with you?
That's my main fear.
Then that becomes your problem.
Decidedly my problem.
Right. And you've somehow accidentally glued the costume on.
Well, you
can't get it off.
Here's why this would never happen, Tom. I've now gone on record several times this podcast saying I am interested in a costume for the appearances only.
Right.
So if a gorilla's acting like a real gorilla and not acting like Tim, odds are it's a gorilla.
It's a real
Tim.
gorilla.
Yeah.
Still, I think if you're going to get a high-quality gorilla costume, you should have some kind of a safe word that you tell everyone so we know it's you and not a gorilla.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be something like banana, because that's something that a gorilla's going to want to say. They'll be like, what are you eating? It'll be like, banana, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll be like,
gorillas
it's only
can't talk, right?
I don't know.
Coco can't talk. Coco can sign.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Tom. I thought we were just talking like I would be signing everything I do.
No, don't sign, Tim. You would have to say out loud the safe word.
There's a gorilla mask covering my mouth. How would you hear me?
It would be muffled, but we'd...
I don't know. For me to get my jaw inside that dead gorilla's jaw, I don't think I'd be able to...
You might have to get it wired in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd just live the rest of my days as a gorilla. Maybe I just live like I'll always just wear clothes on the outside of the gorilla costume.
Wait, what? That's not going to solve all the... Are you just worried about people thinking it's a nude gorilla?
Yeah, well, that way you would know it's me, Tim.
Yeah. Well, and I guess if it is like a taxidermy, then it's going to have the gorilla's genitalia and everything. You're going to have to cover it. Nobody wants to see that.
No.
You can be one of those gorillas wearing a diaper.
That's the worst thing about animals, man.
Their genitalia?
Yeah, I mean, cartoons teach us as kids, like, and like stuffed animals. It's like, oh, this is also cute. And then, like, there's this grotesquerie hanging off all these animals.
Yeah. Yeah, because some of them, they have, very strange genitalia.
Yeah, you go to the zoo and you're like, what the hell is this? This is nothing like my stuffed animal.
Yeah, that looks like a corks that... What do you take a cork out of wine with?
Now, why is a child drinking wine, Tom?
No, he sees his mommy and daddy do it.
Any other things that you want to say about... I was George H.W. Bush for a couple of years.
For a couple of years?
Yeah.
You just dressed like an old man?
In third grade, I had gotten a hold of a George Bush mask.
Oh, okay.
He was president at the time. It was relevant.
I'd gotten a hold of.
Yeah.
I had acquired.
Yeah, I didn't, and it was, I liked the smell of it. You know how like some new plastic.
Did it smell like George H.W. Bush?
No, I imagine he smells like the grossest old man. I mean, I'm sure. Okay, I know he's.
You're not talking about him now. You're talking about when he was president.
Yeah.
During which time he was still an old man.
Yeah, but like, just imagine his breath and imagine him going like this a lot. Like he always had like a weird dry mouth.
Yeah,
or
he always
something.
had a very dry mouth.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to speak ill of the man, even though he deserves people speaking ill about him. But here's.
But you're just talking about his mask, which he probably had very little to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he went and did the life casting for. They put the plaster.
I mean, that's
around his
part of
face.
every president's job,
right?
To sit for a few hours so they can make a mold to make Halloween masks.
It's crazy that they go through all that trouble and the masks still come out looking like caricatures of the president. They don't look authentic at all most of the time.
So yeah, I did that, and that was dumb. We had to go on a Halloween parade throughout the other classrooms.
Yeah, I remember that. That was fun.
Yeah, and every teacher would be like, "Do we know who this is?" And they'd be, "The president." And they'd be like, "Ah."
And you'd go, "Not gonna do it."
Yeah.
1,000 points a lot.
That's like, this is a Dana Carvey costume, you idiots. I don't know who you're talking about. Oh, I was Garth or Wayne? I was Wayne.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an easy.
Yeah.
Did you have a wig or just the hat?
I had a wig and the hat and the black t-shirt. That was a very easy, effective costume.
Yes.
And our mutual friend Sean was Garth, Tom.
Oh, okay.
That's all I remember from my. Hey, look here. I just want to say this: be safe out there.
Yep. Well, good.
Don't do what my parents did to me and make your kids
all
walk
black
around
jumpsuit.
in all black.
Yeah.
That was a great costume, though. I might have just dreamt it, though.
It sounds like it based on the number of bones. That sounds like something you dream about.
Yeah. Realistic bones on a Halloween costume.
Because otherwise, that seems like that's just a lot of trouble to go through. If you like the show, you can check out more at tcgt.com. You can support the show by supporting our sponsors. Also, going to tcgt.com/Amazon for your Amazon shopping, including costume shopping. And tcgt.com/pledge for our Patreon, where you can get fun bonus episodes like Fast Food Friday, mini episodes every week, and other fun surprises. And you can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/complete guide. You can follow me on Twitter at Tom Reynolds and on Instagram.
You follow me on those things at Your Pal Tim. Sorry, you were doing it so boring this week, Tom. I got really bored by what you were saying.
Well, I just wanted to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
What are you going to be for Halloween this year, Tim?
I was a cheeseburger a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I think I'm going to be a cheeseburger again, Tom, with my wife.
What if
the cheeseburger couple? They'll call us.
So you guys both? It's like a horse costume. There's like a back and a front that you guys are going to be in.
No, we're two distinct. We're each our own burger, Tom.
Wow.
Yeah. Actually, no, that was before we were married.
I had no idea you were such a feminist, Tim. That you were so interested in equality that you and your wife are each your own burgers instead of both of you being in one burger costume.
Maybe we'll do that this year. It'll be adorable.
Man, it would be,
and of course nude under there.
Right. Well, just like a hamburger is.
Yeah.
It'd be great if like you and your wife were like a horse costume, but you were like the ass of the horse and nobody ever saw you the whole time.
Yeah,
I guess that would be more like a centaur.
Okay.
If you guys ever think about being a centaur?
I've never thought of being a centaur.
Yeah. One person gets, they get
all
off
the glory.
scot-free.
Yeah.
Well, they get all the glory and they don't have to hunch over the whole
Yeah.
night. They can just stand upright like a regular.
I wouldn't do that. What are you going to be for Halloween?
I think I'm going to be Superman.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Man of
Caped
Steel.
Crusader.
No, not the cape. He wears a cape and
he crusades.
Yeah, but he's not the Caped Crusader. That's Batman, and we all know that I've already spent my lifetime allowance on Batman costumes, which aren't even in my possession.
Are you gonna have you bought a Superman outfit yet?
Not yet.
Outfit. Costume. Are you gonna buy one with the built-in muscles?
Yeah, of course.
Are you?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't think you can buy one without the built-in muscles.
You can. The same one that George Reeves wore in the 50s.
I don't want to be 50s Superman.
Why not? Man, your dog's going nuts. Let's get out of here.
All right, we'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.